our location. Washington, D.C. is home to so many incredible museums and art and cultural institutions. And so even students who just want to immerse themselves in art can do so very easily because we're so close to those institutions. A third of our boarding students come from overseas, from all over. And so their presence is really palpable in our community. Our mascot is the snail. And we call our mascot Shelly Escargot. So one of our favorite sayings here is "Go, go, escargot." This one is a little silly, but I'm going to share it anyway. Our mascot is the snail. And we call our mascot Shelly Escargot. And when your mascot is the snail, you really just have to lean into it and have a lot of fun with your mascot. So one of our favorite sayings here is "Go, go, escargot." That's one of the famous cheers. Or "You snailed it." There's also some meaning behind the snail as well. Our motto is "Festina lent," which in Latin means to make haste slowly. And it's really a reflection on learning, that learning is not something that can be done immediately, that learning takes a little bit of time. And so to make haste slowly is, I think, a beautiful representation of how we approach the learning process here at Madeira. And it is a nice balance with our mascot, the snail, who I think lives a life of making haste slowly. And I think our food is wonderful here. And one of the things we're very proud of is that our food service company is a female-owned business, of course. And they do an incredible job of serving foods that represent our student population. We have an incredibly diverse population here. My favorite meals are always things that are not typically American. Pho is a favorite meal here for me and our students when we have pho night. Our dining hall also prepares these wonderful curries that they're just spicy enough, but they're fan favorites with many members of the Madeira community. A lot of food that represents where our students come from. We do have day students and boarding students, but about a third of our boarding students come from overseas, from all over. And so their presence is really palpable in our community. There's a sense that students share of themselves with the community, and it's a community that wants to receive that information and that culture knowledge from their classmates and dorm mates and friends. There are many opportunities. In particular, it's a tradition at our community meeting time every week on Tuesdays for different affinity groups or cultural groups to get up and share something that may be happening in their country, or a national day, a day of celebration, perhaps back home, some of the traditions, and a wonderful celebration in January, International Week, where we celebrate cultures through food, through dance, through performance, through clothing, and it culminates with a big talent show, which we call I-Night, or International Night, where all of our students perform some aspects of their culture and share that with the rest of the community. Like many girls' schools, Madeira has an incredible arts program. We really do value the arts in a holistic, well-rounded education. And even within our arts program, there are graduation requirements, so students will, over the course of their time at Madeira, really get to explore the arts. We have both a strong visual arts program and a performing arts program. Our visual arts program is now centered in our beautiful new STEAM building that we just opened this past year, an incredible space for creativity, for building, for making, for studying science and math, and for computer science and robotics and engineering, and of course, our visual arts. We do offer a whole array of traditional arts courses, for example, painting and drawing. We also have a growing digital arts curriculum, as well as a ceramics studio and a traditional darkroom photography studio. One of the incredible aspects about the performing arts program at Madeira is there's so many talented students who find themselves in our performing arts program. It's a place they feel at home, and we have an incredible production in the fall each year, a dramatic production. There's an even larger musical that takes place in the winter, which is always fun and joyful, and so many students are involved in that, including behind the scenes. Stagecraft is probably the most popular class at Madeira. There's always a waiting list there's incredible support for students who are not just on stage, but who are behind the scenes making it all come to life. In addition to theater, dance is very popular here, and we have a leveled, tiered dance program. Our most experienced dancers are part of the Madeira Dance Company. One of my favorite times at Madeira is whenever our dancers are on stage. They are fantastic, so incredible, and there's a lot of cheering and yelling and screaming for our dancers when they're performing. You can do the arts from the moment you wake up almost until the time you go to bed as a student, because the arts are baked into our academic curriculum. You can continue with the arts in the afternoons through our afternoon activity block. And we actually have some evening classes at Madeira. Our orchestra, our choral arts group, and stagecraft, as I mentioned before, those are classes that happen in the evening. And some students do that. They're taking art classes through their academic schedule. They're doing art in the afternoons, whether it's theater or dance, and then they're taking evening classes as well. And I think in terms of students who aspire to continue with the art in college, our teachers are all practicing artists themselves. They've had deep experience both teaching art, but being practitioners themselves. And I think our students can really see themselves reflected as artists in our teaching faculty. For our students who are really excited about the arts, they can also use their co-curriculum experience to further develop that interest and passion. We've had students who've worked at museums and who've been overseas working in recording studios, for example, as singers. There's really a lot of ways to leverage the co-curriculum experience and connect it with students' particular passion in the arts. And finally, our location, Washington, D.C., is home to so many incredible museums and art and cultural institutions. And so even students who just want to immerse themselves in art can do so very easily because we're so close to those institutions. It sure is a stressful part of any high school student's experience, the next step and how to get into the college of one's choice, or as you said, the college that's a best fit or university that's a best fit. At Madeira, that process starts pretty early. Students know who their college counselor is, even freshman year, although they don't start really getting acquainted or having major interactions with their college counselor until a little bit later into sophomore year. However, one of the nice things about Madeira's size and, as I mentioned earlier, so aspects of our program really position our students, all of them, and especially our international students, for great success in the college admissions process. Our students are really well known because of our size. 340 students, they get to know so many adults who are writing recommendations for them, and they get to know that just by nature of being in our community, our students are very visible. As you heard me say earlier, all the opportunities to try on leadership, to be a part of clubs and organizations, to leverage, again, their internship experience in interesting ways so that colleges start to see this. The student has put together a really interesting narrative of work or experience in a particular area, and that can really weave an interesting story in a college admissions application. As well, it's inherent for students to, in our school, we have high achieving girls. They're very aspirational for themselves and for their families, of course. Part of our job is to help them to really imagine. We want students to spend a lot of time researching schools that align with their value systems, that offer the programs that they actually want to be invested and engaged in, and to worry a little bit less about the name. Although there are students who are aspiring to the most selective and competitive colleges and universities in this country, they've also been counseled and guided to ensure that that the schools that they are applying to meet their needs as they see them. What is it that they want to do with their lives? What do they care deeply about? How do they see themselves deeply engaging in the community there and finding that alignment? And that takes time, but our college counselors spend quite a lot of time helping students with the research phase. We also are a very caring and kind community where kids take care of each other, and we also have wonderful support systems in place, whether it's the dorm adults or the residential assistants or the advisor or school counselors who can help students as they are managing stress and anxiety. I wish I could say there was none of it here, but it is a reality of life for high-achieving girls, I think. So often that pressure comes from oneself. And so we talk a lot about failure and resilience at Madeira, as well as being important qualities to build in life and characteristics to be able to demonstrate also in a college admissions process. Managing and coping with the stress of the college admissions process can be well supported here, given just our caring nature and the layers and layers of community and support here.